With our prior knowledge of documentaries, we researched and analysed many different current documentary films, codes, conventions and modes to establish what a basic documentary contains. We concluded that the basic documentary includes vox pops, voiceovers, interviews with experts, archive footage and graphics. We implemented these ideas into our expository documentary on HS2. An expository is defined as being the norm for most documentaries like Banking on Bitcoin. These documentaries focus and explore factual information with figures and interviews to support an idea. Also, for this type of documentary, there is more of an audience as the most common type of documentary for TV programmes and studios alike. Therefore, this means we already have a wide range audience who would be interested in this type of documentary. Vox pops are a common convention in documentary filmmaking as it gets the opinion from the general public about the issue. The shot typically used in a vox pop is the close-up shot. This shot conveys the emotions of the general public on the subject. We implemented this convention by asking frequent train users and members of the local community about the HS2 project. This informs the viewers of how other people feel about the HS2 so that they can come up with an opinion. We ask them a range of questions on HS2 to get their opinion on different parts of the project. As this is only a 5-minute extract of a documentary, we decided to only use one question which gave the strongest replies so that we could explore other avenues of conventional documentary filmmaking. We used an interview with MP Christopher Pincher as he is an expert and has an authoritarian voice which will convince the audience to form an opinion on the subject of HS2. We chose to incorporate him in our media projects as it is a common convention of an expository documentary to have an interview with an expert. He also makes an appearance on our double-page spread as he is a prominent figure in the local area in the Conservative Party, so having him in the project will gather a wider audience. We developed conventions to suit our target audience. We chose to create a documentary to suit a younger audience of 16 plus years old, which isn't the norm for a documentary. For example, we developed the graphics and added slightly more than what would be conventional. According to YouGov, the people interested in HS2 are middle-aged, neither young nor old. As students ourselves, we decided that the people our age need to be informed about this new rail infrastructure because it will be their lives that will be affected the most. Therefore, we targeted the audience around a younger age group and we tried to keep them interested in the documentary by adding slightly more graphics.
The American film theorist Bill Nichols, an expository documentary, focuses on the facts and tries to persuade its audience to a certain point of view. Our extract of a documentary resembles this, as it mostly uses facts and figures. However, it includes subjective information of the HS2 via vox pops, thus being conventions of a reflective and poetic documentaries. Furthermore, we did not channel the audience to believe a certain point of view, remaining impartial by giving the pros and cons of the HS2, so that the individual viewer can decide on whether they like it or whether they don't. In our print products, we followed the codes and conventions, and that different companies used for different advertising. For this, we looked at different examples of advertisements, firstly starting with a newspaper ad. We looked at many different TV channels and found out what channel suited the documentary best. So then we fitted the codes and conventions around the newspaper advertisement. We thought that Channel 4 best suits our extract of a documentary as it best appeals to our audience, which their age is around 16 plus. The normal codes and conventions for the Channel 4 documentary newspaper advertisement is that it needs to have a main picture in the middle ground that is visible and eye-catching for the audience. This means that when it is in the newspaper, it can be noticed. The main picture has to be relevant to the documentary and create synergy between the print artifacts and the documentary itself. A Channel 4 logo is always present in the bottom right-hand corner of the advertisement. The audience will find out what channel it's going to be on because of its large Channel 4 logo. Another coded convention for the Channel 4 documentary advertisement is that it needs to include a date and time for when the documentary will air. We included this in our poster as it can be helpful for the audience as they know what time the documentary will air. For this, the coded convention, the next coded convention for a Channel 4 poster is that the background has to be eye-catching. For this, The coding convention I've used is a background for what the HS2 reflects, which an example is grassland that will be destroyed by the HS2. For the second print product, the double page spread, we chose TV Listings magazine that is suitable for the topic. We chose the Radio Times magazine. The main convention of the magazine is the layout. The layout is very important to have a similar layout to the normal Radio Times magazine. An example of the layout is the size of the columns and how long they are. On the first page, it's supposed to be long as it's supposed to invite the reader into the magazine, as well as a bold title and a catchy below. The layout is consistent with the same 3 columns to a page with equal spacing. We employed this convention as it makes a double page spread easy to read. Another coding convention is that it needs to be consistent. This can mean font size, font colour, or even the background colour. In our double page spread, we compared it to the Radio Times magazine, so that we looked at the Radio Times magazine and asked, how can we change it or how can we improve it? We did this with font size as we made it bigger as it's easier for our audiences to read. Also, we changed the example design so that we could have a few of our own touches to make it link to our chosen political topic. We also found that most double page spreads use a white background, but we decided to use a cream colour to make it more user friendly for our audience.